Behold the latest entry in urban mixology, aloe sludge on the sidewalk. Our chef opens by scraping the inside of an aloe leaf like he's trying to win a lottery of mucus, then decants the spoils into a dented can, because glassware is for cowards. Enter 9 mystery co-stars, each sloshed from sun-baked plastic bottles that look lovingly sourced from the nearest eco-park or a very generous trash bin. It's less a recipe and more a group project where everyone forgot the assignment. On the nose, it wafts a bouquet of potting soil and a faint whiff of struck match. The palate is ambitious, earthy and sulfurous, with a texture that suggests someone liquefied a gummy bear and asked it to grow up. The finish lingers like a bad decision, gripping the tongue with the tenacity of a glue stick in July. Pairing notes: best enjoyed with regret and a strong sense of irony. 5 stars for commitment, 0 for drinkability. Would sip again only under documentary contract.
Do you have any dangerous materials in your bag, sir? Weapons or deodorant?
No weapon, sir. Just a deodorant.
What? Deodorant! Arrest this man! Seize his deodorant right now!
Ladies and gentlemen, what you are about to witness is not cooking, it's nuclear alchemy. Our fearless chef begins by unleashing a swamp green liquid straight from a radioactive canister salvaged from Fallout 4's wastelands. Next comes a deep red mystery liquid, blood, wine, or the tears of a forgotten deity. Only heaven knows. To this unholy brew, he adds a generous dusting of magical white powder. Could be salt, could be sugar, could be Chernobyl residue. Who's counting? Then the grand finale, what appears to be mutated rice, or perhaps the cursed larvae of some eldritch horror. A few savage squeezes of lemon ensure your taste buds never recover. Finally, he stirs this chaotic potion with the grace of a mad scientist conducting a reckless experiment. This isn't food, it's a test of survival. Bon appétit if you have a death wish. Presenting the maritime marvel nobody ordered. Harbor Tank Haute Cuisine. Our vendor chef unveils his signature brew in a repurposed fish tank, the world's first transparent cauldron with its own archaeological exhibit. Inside, a brown, viscous tide gently rocking a flotilla of empty and sometimes full water bottles. A couple of trash bags doing lazy laps, and the ghost of an ecosystem that once believed in tomorrow. On the nose, it's pure dockside poetry. Brine, wet rope, and a whisper of, "Who spilled the diesel?" The palate leans boldly into tide pool terroir, earthy, metallic, and mysteriously port forward, like someone infused seawater with regret and barnacle zest. Texture? Think syrupy silt that clings to the tongue like a barnacle with tenure. Presentation is peak performance art. The aquarium doubles as decanter, garnished tray, and cautionary tale. Pair with an iron constitution and a strong backstory. Final verdict, a bracing sip of post-industrial nostalgia, part cocktail, part caution sign, served on the rocks with microplastics on the rim. Cheers to the harbor and to boundaries, which this drink heroically ignores. We have encountered these edible mortar structures far too many times, each one competing for the most grotesque and stomach-churning appearance. But today we have the privilege, no, the misfortune, of witnessing firsthand how one of these architects of street food abominations constructs his latest monument to nausea. With hands that have clearly not been introduced to soap in recent history, our culinary outlaw slaps down a mass of chickpea dough onto a surface that science would advise against touching. He kneads it with the passion of a man who has long abandoned health codes, molding it into an ominous, oversized ring, its structure precarious, its texture deeply unsettling. But he is not done. Oh no. To elevate this gastronomic crime scene, he impales whole cucumbers, peppers, and tomatoes into the trembling, starchy monstrosity, as if adorning a pagan sacrifice to the gods of food poisoning. The ingredients stand upright in tragic defiance, their fates sealed in this culinary mausoleum. Then comes the final affront to decency, a mysterious, viscous orange puree, poured into the center with the same careful precision one might use when disposing of toxic waste. The crater of doom fills up, swirling into a broth that defies both logic and human dignity. The structure quivers, the boundaries between solid and liquid beginning to blur in ways that would make any self-respecting physicist weep. And just when you think it cannot possibly get worse, he decorates it. A handful of onions and other unidentifiable objects are sprinkled over the grotesque display, as if a final attempt to convince us that this is, in fact, food and not some avant-garde social experiment in human suffering. The masterpiece is complete. It stands before us, a towering insult to both nature and common sense. Is it edible? Is it a warning? Is it the result of a bet that went too far? One thing is certain, somewhere in the distance, a health inspector is crying.
Do not redeem it! Do not redeem it!
Why does it smell like curry?
Welcome to a street food experience so bold, so unhinged, that even your stomach will be filing a complaint before the first bite. This isn't just food, it's a science experiment gone rogue. We begin with the ceremonial crushing of the nachos, which, judging by their pale, brittle state, have either been aged to perfection or retrieved from the dumpster out back. The chef, with hands that have clearly seen too many unwashed adventures, smashes them into oblivion directly over the bubbling pot of questionable slop. Then the avalanche of ingredients begins: onions, cilantro, and a selection of mystical herbs from the neighbor's unguarded garden. Next, a mysterious collection of seeds, because nothing says street food like a Russian roulette of botanical experiments. As if your taste buds weren't already on high alert, the chef violently wrings a lemon, squeezing out its very soul, ensuring that no papilla escapes unscathed. But the real kicker? A cascade of ominous powders, sprinkled in like a witch doctor preparing a ritual, somewhere between a culinary masterpiece and a biological weapon. But wait, why stop here? The whole mess gets scooped into tortillas, but not just any tortillas. These are mysterious, floppy, and possibly forged in the depths of a forgotten food lab. Folded, filled, and barely holding back the chaos within, they receive yet another blessing of powders, broths, and inexplicable sauces, each more suspiciously thick and unidentifiable than the last. The final product? A soggy, overflowing, multi-textured monstrosity, defying both gravity and good decision-making. The smell alone suggests a flavor profile somewhere between genius and crime scene. Will you take a bite? Will you survive? One thing's for sure, this isn't food, it's an experience, and possibly an endurance test. Ladies and gentlemen, behold the world's fastest and most chaotic chef, competing in the prestigious "How much disgust can you cram into one dish?" challenge. With the grace of a caffeinated raccoon, he hurls ingredients into the pan like he's trying to summon a demon. Chickpeas? Check. Onions? Sure. Random chunks of unidentifiable street debris? Absolutely. A mysterious liquid that might be motor oil? Why not? Inspired by the Powerpuff Girls recipe, he aimed for magic but instead created 3 mutant horrors that took one look at the dish and sprinted away gagging. The result? A meal that scientists will study for years and health inspectors will have nightmares about. Eat at your own risk, assuming it doesn't eat you first. Behold a true connoisseur of catastrophe, a man seated in a murky puddle, feasting upon a mutant turnip of questionable origin. But plain dirt is too bland for this culinary pioneer. No, he expertly dips each bite into the thick sludge at the bottom of the pool, savoring the rich, earthy notes of filth and fermentation. The result? A dining experience that defies both hygiene and human reason. Each mouthful is a gamble, each chew a meditation on poor life choices. This isn't just eating, it's a full-contact sport against common sense.
For your crimes against hygiene, you are sentenced to a full 5-minute shower.
No, not the full 5 minutes.
Witness a culinary abomination. A trompo so grotesque it appears to have marinated in the depths of a septic tank. The aroma? A haunting blend of despair and decomposition. But fear not, our valiant chef has a trick up his grease-stained sleeve. With the enthusiasm of a con artist, he drowns the meat in a flood of sauces and an avalanche of spices, a desperate attempt to camouflage the unmistakable flavor of something that should not be eaten. The result? A sandwich that oozes menace, each bite an assault on logic and dignity. It's less a meal and more a dare, one that leaves your taste buds begging for mercy and your stomach questioning its life choices. There he stands, our sticky street sorcerer, wielding a massive wooden staff wrapped in what must be 200 plastic bags, each one a layer of mystery and probably bacteria. From its top oozes a glistening, unidentifiable substance he stretches by hand, bare, unapologetically unwashed, onto sticks, twisting it into what he insists is a flower. Though really it more closely resembles a Puya chilensis, that hostile South American plant with spines and the personality of a cactus on a bad day. The process is hypnotic. Children squeal with delight. Adults glance around, unsure if they're witnessing street food or a violation of the Geneva Conventions. Health codes? He's never met one. And yet somehow this man thrives, an urban candy alchemist turning questionable goo into grotesque sugar sculptures. Is it edible? Maybe. Is it legal? Doubtful. Is it performance art? Almost certainly. Whatever it is, it's unforgettable. And probably immune system training for the brave souls who dare to take a bite. Before we even get to the food, let's take a moment to appreciate the crime scene decor. Right there, on the back wall of this fine establishment, we can see the permanent imprint of a motorcyclist immortalized in oil and regret. Rather than let a good accident go to waste, the chef, ever the opportunist, has clearly recycled the situation into today's burger special. But let's not get distracted. Today, the star of the show is not the mystery meat, but rather the legendary fried eggs. These eggs won't be cooked in just any oil. Oh no, that would be far too simple. Instead, they will be baptized in a sacred viscous liquid that has stood the test of time, possibly dating back to the Ottoman Empire itself. This oil has witnessed sultans rise and fall, empires crumble, and arteries clog. It has a deep, rich patina, a thickened consistency that suggests both historical significance and immediate health concerns. As the chef cracks the eggs into this tar-like abyss, they don't so much sizzle as they whisper their final prayers. The yolks, once full of life, now tremble in fear as they are slowly swallowed by centuries of unwashed grease. The smell? A delicate blend of burnt history, motor oil, and possible war crimes. Meanwhile, the motorcycle burger patties rest nearby, soaking up the ambiance and possibly the trauma of their origins. It's a perfect harmony of flavors, one part rubber, one part nostalgia, and a whole lot of questionable choices. Will you take a bite? Will you survive the experience? One thing is for certain, this is not just a meal, it's a rite of passage. Step aside, Michelin chefs. There's a new culinary pioneer redefining the limits of human digestion. Somewhere on a bustling street corner, a street food vendor performs a ritual that can only be described as unholy gastronomy. Armed with an army of mystery spices and what appears to be a chemistry set from a post-apocalyptic garage sale, our hero begins his masterpiece. He spreads a suspiciously white, viscous paste, let's generously call it culinary foam, onto banana leaves using a rusted metal rod that looks like it just came out of a toxic waste barrel. Is it safe? Is it food? Science may never catch up. Then for that extra je ne sais ugh, he adds another concoction of unknown origin and gives the whole thing a loving remix with his bare fingers. Truly nothing brings out the earthy, salty essence of food like body temperature and fingernail seasoning. What results is not so much a meal, but a performance art piece that dares to ask, what if flavor was a threat? Bon appetit, if you're brave. Some cooking videos make you hungry. This one makes you reconsider meat, gravity, and the concept of mercy. It opens on what can only be described as a mass poultry casualty. Dozens of chicken carcasses piled up like they were swept in by a flood after raising a village. Grim. Oh, just getting started. Our fearless meatball artisan appears, Clearly a man who's never heard of parts, he grabs a whole chicken, beak, claws, testicles, and the suspicious tufts of hair still clinging to them, and casually tosses it straight into a grinder. No trimming, no cleaning, just vibes. Concerned about sharp beak fragments or rogue toenails? Don't worry. His partner comes in wearing heavy-duty rubber boots and stomps the mixture like she's packing down cement. Hygiene, optional, texture, unforgiving. The result? Chicken meatballs that look more like colorful river stones than anything you'd willingly put in your mouth. Nature's marbles, now available in the frozen food aisle. They do beef meatballs too, but alas, after trying to throw in an entire bull, horns and all, and breaking the machine, they've begrudgingly started cutting the meat first. A small concession to logic. In summary, it's not just a recipe, it's a crime scene with seasoning. In the lawless world of street food, the chef has cooked up a stew so texturally confusing, it feels like a dare. Some chunks resemble river stones, others a mysterious, spreadable paste, all floating in a broth that refuses to mix, like it's trying to flee the pot and start a new life elsewhere. But progress has been made. For the first time ever, the chef has used actual utensils, trading in his signature filthy hand scoops for a ladle. A bold leap for hygiene, a tragic loss for bacteria fans. He serves the final creation in clay pots of various sizes, sealed tighter than state secrets, not to preserve freshness, but to trap every last molecule of methane bubbling from the depths. It's not just a meal, it's a pressurized digestive gamble, proudly served with a side of suspense. In what can only be described as a culinary apocalypse with strong undertones of gastrointestinal danger, our national chef presents a stew that resembles something scooped straight from a medieval latrine. Thick, brown, and glistening like fresh regret, it bubbles ominously in a giant cauldron better suited for casting spells or boiling old boots. With a metal bucket in hand, clearly borrowed from a construction site, he begins the sacred ritual of scooping the sludge and transferring it into a slightly smaller, equally questionable bucket. Some whisper this process is to impart an extra touch of ferrous oxide, as if seasoning with rust were a bold new culinary frontier. Others suspect he's just winging it, guided only by tradition, chaos, and fumes. And then, the pièce de résistance. He reaches into the bottom of the cauldron with his bare hands, which are about as clean as a public bathroom after a music festival. Fingers deep in the muck, he scrapes up every last chunk like a man possessed, adding that final flourish of earthiness straight from his palms. This isn't just cooking, it's performance art. A love letter to national tradition, handwritten in oil, dirt, and questionable decisions. Bon appetit and good luck. Ah, behold, a pizza that challenges both culinary standards and basic human rights. The dough, raw and lifeless, is fondled with enthusiasm, ensuring each bite carries the chef's signature blend of sweat and existential dread. Embedded within are cashews, almonds, pistachios, and something unidentifiable, possibly a relic from a lost civilization. At the center sits a lone mushroom, exuding an aura of questionable legality. Is it hallucinogenic? Is it alive? No one dares to ask. Instead of a proper bake, the chef hurls the dough against the scorching oven wall, where it fossilizes like the mistakes of our ancestors. And just when you think it can't get worse, baptism. The entire creation is plunged into a sacred chamber pot, absorbing the essence of generations past. One bite, and reality itself begins to unravel. Would I recommend it? Only if you owe someone revenge.